Hello and welcome back to our study of Romeo and Juliet. We are currently in Act 3, Scene 2. Let's listen in to see what happens next.
Scene 2. A room in Capulet's house. Enter Juliet.
Gallop apace, you fiery-footed steeds, towards Phoebus' lodging. Such a wagoner as Phaeton would whip you to the west and bring in cloudy night immediately. Spread thy close curtain, love-performing night, that rude eyes may wink, and Romeo leap to these arms, untalked of and unseen. Lovers can see to do their amorous rites by their own beauties, or if love be blind, it best agrees with night. Come, civil night, thou sober-suited matron all in black, and learn me how to lose a winning match played for a pair of stainless maidenhoods. Hood my unmanned blood, bating in my cheeks with thy black mantle, till strange love, grown bold, think true love acted simple modesty. Come, night, come, Romeo, come, thou day in night, for thou wilt lie upon the wings of night, whiter than new snow upon a raven's back. Come, gentle night, come, loving, black-browed night, give me my Romeo, and when he shall die, take him and cut him out in little stars, and he will make the face of heaven so fine that all the world will be in love with night, and pay no worship to the garish sun. Oh, I have bought the mansion of a love, but not possessed it, and though I am sold, not yet enjoyed. So tedious is this day as is the night before some festival to an impatient child that hath new robes and may not wear them. Oh, here comes my nurse, and she brings news, and every tongue that speaks but Romeo's name speaks heavenly eloquence.
Enter nurse with cords.
Now, nurse, what news? What hast thou there? The cords that Romeo bid thee fetch?
Let's pause right quick. So we have this really long speech in which Juliet is alone on stage. Anybody remember what we call that kind of speech in a play? That's right, we call it a soliloquy. And in the soliloquy, she is making different allusions or references to Greek mythology. So maybe some of you guys recognize some of those names. But she also talks about what happens when a man and a woman get married, and she's ready for it to happen. And she's kind of just putting it out there into the universe that she's ready. But we know that in the last scene, something terrible just happened. And that Romeo has fought and killed Tybalt. Now, if you guys recall, in Act 1, the prince specifically forbade fighting in the street. And he basically said that if anybody's caught fighting again, it's going to be automatic death for them. Well, Romeo was pretty lucky in that he wasn't sentenced to death. However, he was banished, meaning that he can never return to Verona. So while Juliet's at home and kind of just thinking about her new husband of just a few hours, whom she met the night before, she doesn't realize that her new husband just killed her cousin. And that's got to be a kind of strange thing happening. Let's continue. So, all right, let's listen in.
I the cord.
Throws them down.
Ah me, what news? Why dost thou wring thy hands?
Well a day. He's dead, he's dead, he's dead. We are undone, lady, we are undone. Alack the day, he's gone, he's killed, he's dead.
Can heaven be so envious?
Romeo can, though heaven cannot. Oh, Romeo, Romeo, who would ever have thought it? Romeo!
What devil art thou that dost torment me thus? This torture should be roared in dismal hell. Hath Romeo slain himself? Say thou but I, and that bare vowel I shall poison more than the death-darting eye of cockatrice. I am not I, if there be such an eye, or those eyes shut that make the answer I. If he be slain, say I, or if not, no. Brief sounds determine of my weal or woe.
I saw the wound, I saw it with mine eyes. God save the mark, here, on his manly breast. A piteous corse, a bloody piteous corse. Pale, pale as ashes, all bedaubed in blood, all in gore blood. I swooned at the sight.
Oh, break my heart, poor Bancroft, break at once, to prison eyes ne'er look on liberty. Vile earth to earth resign, end motion here, and thou and Romeo press one heavy bier.
Oh, Tybalt, Tybalt, the best friend I had. Oh, courteous Tybalt, honest gentleman, that ever I should live to see thee dead.
What storm is this that blows so contrary? Is Romeo slaughtered and is Tybalt dead? My dear loved cousin and my dearer lord? Then dreadful trumpet sound the general doom, for who is living if those two are gone?
Tybalt is gone, and Romeo banished. Romeo that killed him, he is banished.
Oh God, did Romeo's hand shed Tybalt's blood?
It did, alas the day it did.
Oh, serpent heart hid with a flowering face, did ever dragon keep so fair a cave? Beautiful tyrant, fiend angelical, dove-feathered raven, wolvish ravening lamb, despised substance of divinest show, just opposite to what thou justly seem'st, a damned saint and honourable villain. O nature, what hadst thou to do in hell when thou didst bower the spirit of a fiend in mortal paradise of such sweet flesh? Was ever book containing such vile matter so fairly bound? Oh, that deceit should dwell in such a gorgeous palace.
There's no trust, no faith, no honesty in men. All perjured, all forsworn, all not, all dissemblers. Ah, where is my man? Give me some aqua vitae. These griefs, these woes, these sorrows make me old. Shame come to Romeo.
Blistered be thy tongue for such a wish.
Okay, let's pause right quick. So, it's obvious that Juliet has found out about this heinous crime that Romeo has just committed. And Nurse is kind of chastising Romeo, saying, oh, he is vile, he did this. And Juliet herself says, oh, serpent heart hid with a flowering face, meaning that, oh, Romeo's good face has hidden the fact that he's kind of like this villain. She says, did a dragon ever keep so fair a cave? Beautiful tyrant, fiend angelical, dove-feathered raven, wolvish ravening lamb. What you notice here are oxymorons, meaning that we have two words that have opposite meanings put next to each other, and this is done for dramatic effect. Is he a beautiful tyrant? Like a beautiful, meaning like someone who is so handsome and yet so devilish too. And again, we see him compared to a book here, right? She says, was ever book containing such vile matters so fairly bound? If his insides are so bad and yet he is so handsome. All right, so she's kind of chastising him, and then you'll see that Nurse already does this as well. She said, oh, there's no trust in men, no faith, no honesty. And then immediately Juliet says, blistered be thy tongue for such a wish. She is at first angry with Romeo, but quickly changes her tune. Let's listen in.
He was not born to shame. Upon his brow shame is ashamed to sit, for 'tis a throne where honor may be crowned, sole monarch of the universal earth. Oh, what a beast was I to chide at him!
Will you speak well of him that killed your cousin?
Shall I speak ill of him that is my husband? Ah, poor my lord, what tongue shall smooth thy name when I, thy 3 hours' wife, have mangled it? But wherefore, villain, didst thou kill my cousin? That villain cousin would have killed my husband. Back, foolish tears, back to your native spring. Your tributary drops belong to woe, which you mistaking offer up to joy. My husband lives that Tybalt would have slain, and Tybalt's dead that would have slain my husband. All this is comfort. Wherefore weep I then? Some word there was worser than Tybalt's death that murdered me. I would forget it fain. But oh, it presses to my memory like damned guilty deeds to sinners' minds. Tybalt is dead and Romeo banished. That banished, that one word banished hath slain 10,000 Tybalts. Tybalt's death was woe enough if it had ended there, or if sour woe delights in fellowship and needly will be ranked with other griefs. Why followed not, when she said Tybalt's dead, thy father or thy mother, nay, or both, which modern lamentation might have moved? But with a rearward following Tybalt's death, Romeo is banished. To speak that word is father, mother, Tybalt, Romeo, Juliet, all slain, all dead. Romeo is banished. There is no end, no limit, measure, bound in that word's death. No words can that woe sound. Where is my father and mother, nurse?
Weeping and wailing over Tybalt's corse. Will you go to them? I will bring you thither.
Wash they his wounds with tears. Mine shall be spent when theirs are dry for Romeo's banishment. Take up those cords. Poor ropes, you are beguiled, both you and I, for Romeo is exiled. He made you for a highway to my bed, but I, a maid, die maiden widowed. Come, cords, come, nurse, I'll to my wedding bed, and death, not Romeo, take my maiden head.
Hie to your chamber. I'll find Romeo to comfort you. I wot well where he is. Hark ye, your Romeo will be here at night. I'll to him. He is hid at Lauren's cell.
Oh, find him. Give this ring to my true knight, and bid him come to take his last farewell.
Exit.
All right, so we see another long speech by Juliet, and we know that this is different than a soliloquy because Nurse is there listening to it. Do you guys recall what this kind of speech is called? That's right, it's called a monologue. And so this monologue talks about how Juliet is kind of chastising herself for being rough on her husband. She says, I'm only 3 hours your wife, and I've mangled your name. Shame on me. And she says, my husband lives that Tybalt would have slain, and Tybalt's dead. That would have slain my husband. All this is comfort. Wherefore I weep then. She's saying, you know what? Tybalt could have killed my husband, but he didn't. And Romeo's alive. And therefore, why should I weep? I should be happy. And she does later talk about his banishment. She says, oh, Romeo's banished. To speak that word, is father, mother, Tybalt, Romeo, Julia, all slain, all dead. Romeo's banished. There's no end, no limit, measure, bound. And that word's death. No words can that woe sound. Where's my father and my mother, nurse? Notice that Juliet is also upset about the fact that Romeo is banished. Again, I think they're being rash yet again in this play because, really, she should be grateful that Romeo hasn't been sentenced to death, as was promised by Prince Aeschylus in Act 1 for fighting, which Romeo did do. And really, Romeo was being foolish. If he hadn't have fought in Tybalt probably would have still been put to death because he fought Mercutio and killed him. So did Romeo really need to take that on himself? No. And yet he did, showing that, again, Romeo doesn't really think things through very well. And so Juliet says, okay, I'm still going to see Romeo tonight. Take up these cords, meaning like this rope ladder, and put it over for my room out for Romeo to climb up tonight. Okay, she's still expecting to see him tonight. And she says, nurse says, okay, go to your chamber and I'll find Romeo to comfort you. And she's like, okay, good, I want to see him. All right, so that is the end of Act 3, Scene 2. I hope that this helped you understand what was going on. And I hope you join us for our next act. Thanks for tuning in and see you next time. Bye.